there.
Sounds good.
All right, so thank you so much. Welcome everybody to our information session with LinkedIn Learning with Miss Caitlin Golden. I'm super excited for her to share the information about becoming oh gosh, it just slipped my
A
mind.
contractor. It's
A
okay.
contractor with LinkedIn Learning. And so, so we look forward to hearing this information. Again, if you have any questions, comments, put them in the chat for me. And so we're going to go ahead and get started. Caitlin, I yield the floor to you. Thank you so much for joining us here at DSU, and welcome on this beautiful day here. I know you're on the West Coast, but it's a beautiful 80-degree weather day here in Delaware. So we welcome you.
Thank you so much, Danielle. And I have to say, I'm quite jealous. I'm in Seattle right now, and it's overcast. It is not the fake screen that you see behind me. It's gonna rain today. Anyways, let me go ahead and get my presentation going. Now, I apologize. I'm a little bit new to oh, why is it not letting me select it? Okay. Do I have to? Do you have to allow me to present, Danielle? Is that?
No, you should be able to have.
That's so
Um,
strange. Well, you know what? The good news is I don't really need much of a presentation. I just basically did it to have something pretty for everybody to see. So why don't I go ahead and just explain it? And I don't think we even need the presentation.
okay, or you can email it to me, and while you're talking, I can try to load it.
It's all right. It really was just my main markers without any additional information. So it was really just to have something pretty on the screen. So don't
Okay.
worry about that. I'll just go into it.
All right.
Hi, everyone. My name is Caitlin Golden. I am a program manager for LinkedIn Learning. And as Danielle said, today I'm here to talk about contractor opportunities for recent graduates in my department at LinkedIn Learning. So first, I just wanted to start by explaining a little bit about what LinkedIn Learning is, in case anybody here is not familiar with it. It is an electronic learning platform, so it's a place to learn new certifications, skills, etc. online. It is owned by LinkedIn, which in turn is owned by Microsoft. So Microsoft is sort of our grandparent company, and it was formerly lynda.com, in case anybody's familiar with that website. Education is highly valued at LinkedIn Learning. It is, in fact, our main product. It drives all of our work since learning and helping our members learn is, in essence, what we do. Many of my coworkers have education backgrounds, and I myself have a background in academia. I am in what is known as the content org. So, breaking that down for a second, what is the content org? As the name suggests, we manage all of the content. So stuff like courses, articles, we sometimes have podcasts too that are accessible on LinkedIn Learning for anyone who is a member of the platform. The org is comprised of a wide variety of teams that are all working towards the same goal, which is to make sure that LinkedIn Learning is making great content and making it available for our members. So for example, let's say you wanted to go on LinkedIn Learning, and I actually did this exact thing the other day, and watch a video on Excel. We make that possible. We make it possible to for you to actually find what you're looking for. So what is the Recent Grads Contractor Program, and why do I want to talk about that today? We are all aware, hopefully by now, we're all aware of the current economic crisis that we're in. Having graduated personally during the last big crisis, I am aware how tough it is for recent graduates to find meaningful positions in their fields. My program aims to get highly motivated, skilled recent graduates into contract positions at LinkedIn Learning. Specifically, I'm focused on the content org as a way of starting out their tech careers. So I'll get into this a little bit more later, but contractors at LinkedIn Learning are well paid, and the environment at the company, and I feel very strongly that I can say this because I came to LinkedIn after 6 years at Amazon. The environment at LinkedIn Learning is respectful, both in terms of treating employees like human beings and, most important, in terms of work-life balance. So how am I implementing this program exactly? So just to give you a little bit of a background, I have a lot of experience hiring contractors for my own team. I currently have 3 contractors who are recent graduates, and I personally have had a wonderful experience working with them. Because of this experience hiring contractors, I often get contacted by hiring managers who themselves are looking for contractors, and they just simply do not know where to start. So to meet this demand, I have created a list of recent graduates from a number of universities, and I circulate that list with hiring managers in the content org. I also work with candidates on my list to help better understand their career goals. That sometimes actually leads me to looking for positions for them in other departments. So I want to be clear, we're not pigeonholed into the content org. That's just where I get contacted the most for contractors. I have been working on this program. It's fairly new. I've been working on this program for the last 4 months. And so far, I'm very excited to say I have gotten 7 recent graduates placed into contract roles in the content org. So one question that I get quite a bit is, why contractor positions? Again, I graduated during the last big recession, and I know that for recent grads, the term entry level, well, not just for recent grads, but for everybody, the term entry level is highly misleading. Most entry level jobs require a couple of years of experience, and most people do not have that experience coming right out of college, unless you are a computer science major or an engineer major, and even then, often people want graduate degrees. So in addition to giving you your first tech world experience, getting a contractor position at LinkedIn Learning gives you the experience that entry-level tech roles require. There are also many benefits to contractor roles. First, the pay in the content org for contractors is quite good. It generally ranges from $35 to $47 an hour, though of course that depends on the team. Second, the titles translate well into your future job search. So for example, all of my contractors are, their titles are associate program manager, which is essentially the entry level, again, putting that in quotations, entry level title for program managers. Generally, contracts are 6 months with the possibility for an extension. There's also the possibility for that to transition into a full-time position at the company. That is, of course, not guaranteed, but anecdotally, I know of many contractors who have moved on to full-time positions. And then finally, another benefit to the role, and I know I mentioned this earlier, but I just want to touch on this again. Work-life balance at the company is excellent. And again, not to belabor the point, but after 6 years at Amazon, I definitely know the difference between a good work-life balance and a bad one. You at LinkedIn Learning, you are not working crazy hours. There are not unrealistic expectations or standards that are set for you, and you are respected as a human being, which I think is honestly something that is so important, but it's so undervalued for people that are trying to get their start in the tech world. So hopefully this sounds interesting to you. And if you're asking, how do I get added to this list? What should I do if I want to be included on this list? The good news is very simple. Reach out to me. I really want to hear from you. If you are a recent grad, if you are a rising senior, if you have graduated recently, I want to talk to you about whether or not there's a position, a contract position at LinkedIn available for you. Send me your resume and a list of your skills, and we'll set up some time to talk. I am at this point looking to grow my program, and I really want to include you. And I think this is an important point, even if your major is not a traditional tech major, that is more than okay. I graduated with my BA in German and Arabic. That did not stop me from having a successful tech career. It really does not matter what your major is. It just matters that you were interested in getting your start in tech. So that is my general presentation. I know it's relatively brief, but I wanted to make sure that it was to the point. I know that we only have a couple of people here, but I did want to know if anyone had any questions, if there was anything that wasn't clear.
So I think that there is a question, but I don't know. It didn't. Oh, so they're asking, what's your name on LinkedIn, or how can they get in contact with you?
Oh, absolutely. Why don't I, let me go ahead and get started by putting my email in the chat. My name on LinkedIn is Caitlin Golden. I'm just putting that again, even though I know my name is up here. It should be pretty easy to search for me. I believe I'm the only Caitlin Golden at LinkedIn in the entire company, but go ahead and send me an email and we can get started that way.
All right, any other questions? Before I ask a question, any other questions? Okay. So I know that there is, before you came on, I was having a conversation with Tiwa, and I know that there is, his background is mass communications.
Okay.
So how do you see, can you speak to someone who may be in mass communications or who may be in business or, just, I don't know what else I could say, political science, whatever that looks like. How do you see them fitting into your organization?
Right. So I don't want to speak to any of those individual majors simply because I can't say for certain, like, oh, here is an actual like contract position that would go for. But I will say a couple of things. First of all, if you have a passion for education, regardless of if your background is political science or I'm sorry, was it mass media? Did I heard you correctly?
Mass communications.
Mass communications. I apologize. Those skills are going to translate well into this work, right? The other thing that I was going to say, let me see if I can find my train of thought again. Give me 1 second here. Is that a lot of the base level skills that you learn in your courses, right, regardless of your major, are going to be transferable skills to a contract position. You don't necessarily need to, I just placed someone in a role where they had to, one of their primary responsibilities is to essentially review an instructor, because we have instructors on LinkedIn Learning that create content, to review a new course that an instructor has created and ensure that that course is acceptable to be placed on the platform. That person had a background in German and education. That is not something that is directly transferable, but because of the skills that they learned in college overall, and because of the way that they were able to demonstrate their willingness to learn and their willingness to learn new skills quickly, they were able to easily transfer what they had learned in college to this role. And I realize that that's a general response, Danielle, and I apologize. I think that if a student is motivated, it really doesn't matter. Of course, there will be students who have a very particular skill, like my team, for example, is multilingual. I'm looking for folks that took courses in Spanish, French, what have you, that have a lot of experience with those languages. So there are times when specific skills are necessary for contract positions, but for the most part, they just want to know that you have a passion for education, that you were successful in your major, and that you were quick to learning new skills. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
It does. And so, I mean, it kind of feeds to what I try to share with our students a lot is that, your first job out of college might not be exactly where you want to be, but use those opportunities. And people are looking for the skills that you've obtained while going through your programs to hire you. And then you, in return, can use the skills that you build in that position for, your more focused opportunities that you look for afterwards. So
exactly.
Yeah, that makes complete sense to me.
Good. And let me just add on what you said, because I think that's such an important point, is that a lot of times with these, and again, this program is very new, but speaking with the college students or the ex-college students that I've placed, a lot of them use this opportunity to figure out what they want to do as a career. They know that they want, for example, a career in tech, but they majored in German. Again, I'm picking on that because obviously that was my major, but so they don't know how that translates. This gives them an opportunity to say, okay, the work that I'm doing in my role is not necessarily exactly related to what I'm doing, though the skills that I've learned are transferable to this. But from this and from the supportive atmosphere, I have figured out that I want to use my skills from college and the skills that I've used in this job to do X, Y, or Z in the tech world.
Got it. Definitely makes sense to me. Any other questions? My background is in business. I can stay quiet for a while, but I don't want to make it awkward. Okay, cool. So I want to ask, just so that for people who might be viewing this session at a later date,
Yeah.
What particular years of graduation, what are you looking for in your person that you're looking to hire? I heard you say recent grads. So what does that mean? Does that mean the person who just graduated in 2020? Is that someone who graduated in 2019, 2018? And then I heard you say rising seniors. So our rising seniors would consider to be our juniors at this moment. And if that what you mean, I flubbed, so I apologize in advance. But let me know what is the time range or the classification that you're looking for to fill these positions?
Sure, that's a really good question. There is no requirement, to be clear. We have contractors who are nowhere near college age. My original intention with doing this program and trying to find that match is to recognize that anybody graduating in the year 2020 and frankly, probably for the next 5 years or so, is probably going to have a more difficult than usual time finding a position. But really, it doesn't matter to me. If you're watching this video and you graduated in 2015 and you say, hey, I got laid off from my job or I want to try something new and you want to reach out, great, do it. Just because the intention was a little bit more specific does not mean I don't want to hear from you. And as far as rising seniors goes, that's actually a very good point, and I think I kind of misused that term, so I apologize. It's been a minute since I've been out of that. Of course, if you are a junior looking to get your start and you believe that you can, with your workload, excuse me, with your class load, you can handle a 30-hour-a-week job plus the courses you're taking, great. What I was more thinking of is seniors who are maybe only taking 1 or 2 classes or just working on their thesis, who have extra time and want to consider getting a contract position at the same time. Additionally, sorry, last thing, one of the contractors on my team is actually getting her MBA at the same time as being a contractor for my team. So I obviously can't speak to the schedule for different teams and their contractors' needs, especially since that varies a lot depending on who needs a contractor at any particular time. But I will say that if you are afraid of doing something like this because you have because you're enrolling in grad school or what have you, don't be afraid, because I think that a lot of managers will work with you the way that I'm working with my contractor who's in grad school right now.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I think that allow a lot of people who may be viewing this open the doors up to them, right? So thank you for sharing that. And then lastly, I know this probably is on a lot of people's mind with the pandemic. Is this remote? Are you asking for people to relocate? What does that look like, I guess, in the coming summer year?
That's a great question. I know that in the past, so funny enough, I started at LinkedIn Learning in January of 2020. So my experience of a pre-pandemic LinkedIn Learning is very, very limited. I am aware that there were times in the past where contractors worked from the office, but that really depends on the situation. My understanding now is that everyone is remote. You do not have to pick up and move. Obviously, if you are watching this 6 months from now and somehow we have miraculously eradicated all COVID and everything is completely back to normal, that may have changed. But my understanding is that a remote work environment is acceptable and you are not expected to move.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you so much for the information that you've given us today and that you're leaving with us. I appreciate your time and your efforts. Last call, any other questions? Either go ahead and unmute yourself or put it in the chat for me before we let Mrs. Golden go. But again, thank you so much for your time. What we will do is make sure that our students receive this information. I think it's an amazing opportunity. And just like you said, a lot of times in my experience, when I graduated with my bachelor's, I could not get a position in my field that was paying more than the job that I had at the time. Yeah. So I wasn't going to leave and I was serving tables and bartending. I wasn't going to leave that to make less money. Yep. And so, I just wanted to make sure that our students have opportunities, especially when they're coming right out of graduation and being able to get the opportunities to make a decent living and get a great start on their experience and being able to build their resume and their networking. So I'm going to say thank you again. We appreciate you. I will make sure that your information is included with this video so that if anybody wants to get in contact with you. But as you said, tell us one more time how they can connect with you, whether it's email or LinkedIn.
Absolutely. And I also just want to say thank you, Danielle, so much for making this happen. I really appreciate that, truly. To get in contact with me, you can reach out to me via email. My email is cgolden, GOLDEN, @linkedin.com. You can also find me on LinkedIn. I'm going to spell my name once just to make sure everybody's got it. CAITLIN. And Golden one more time is GOLDEN. And yeah, reach out to me. I would love to hear from you.
All right. Thank you so much, Ann Caitlin, and we appreciate you here at DSU. I look forward to seeing you in the future,
Yes,
in the fall, and hopefully, we can do something that's not. Well, I don't know, here in Seattle.
We'll see. Maybe we'll keep our fingers crossed for that.
Keep our fingers crossed that we might be able to see each other past the screens, but we appreciate you today. So thank you so much.
Thank you as well. And you guys have an awesome afternoon. And I will talk to you soon, I'm sure.
Okay, take care. Thank you.
You too. Bye.